Hello and welcome back, Realty Pros. Thank you for joining us for this week's Realty Talk. We appreciate everyone taking the time out to spend with us in this training this afternoon. We are excited as always to have with us our lovely um, broker, Miss Jasmine Porter, who is going to be leading this training this afternoon. And so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to send it over to her. I'm going to yield the floor to her. And thank you again for all of your dedication towards us.
Thank you so much, Anita, and welcome Realty Pros to another dynamic week of Porterhouse Realty Talks. We are so elated to have you guys with us. You've done a phenomenal job, everybody. Give a round of applause to our amazing office manager, Anita Bowie. She is outstanding, not only beautiful, but excellent in all that she does. And all of our Realty Pros, hats off to you guys for investing in your business, for being part of these Realty Talks. It is very much our heart and a passion of ours for Mr. Porter and myself that we consistently get together with our Realty Pros on a weekly basis so that we can invest and deposit into your lives everything that you need to be successful in this real estate game, so that you never have to feel alone or unsure, but you have all the answers that you need and you have a pool of resources that you can tap into on a weekly basis. So that includes not only Mr. Porter and myself, but all of your dynamic leadership team, and then all of you. I don't know if you realized it, but we have the best realtors in the industry at Porterhouse. So I just want to give you guys kudos and thank you guys for your participation today. I am always excited with this gold in the palm of your hand series. And I would love if Sean could even share something that he shared when they were doing the icebreaker, because it was so poignant and it really just summed up all of the things that I will go through as a brief refresher for everybody who did not have a chance to join us last week. But Sean, I want you to give, if you would come off of mute and give one of your key takeaways from last week's training, because both your takeaway and then a Shayla's takeaways, those were too good not to get in the recording. So we want to honor you guys and give you space to include your contribution in our recording for today. So I will ask you the question again, Sean, and happy birthday to you again. I hope you had a great time there. But for the sake of our training today, what was your key takeaway from Gold in the Palm of Your Hands last week?
Well, thank you so much, Mrs. Porter, on that, on my birthday. I do feel a bit older, but when it comes to the key takeaway, there was a lot. I don't know if I can do it justice with a response on that, except beyond the fact that it really put into my understanding that uh, I have a lot more contacts and a lot more people in my network than I normally think of, and people that I normally would not consider a contact, so to speak, in this regard, as a realtor, as a professional realtor. It becomes something that, hey, I actually have something I can build off of, and this is something that I can truly make a successful business from. So that was really, that's all I can think of, really. I apologize.
Outstanding. Thank you so very much, Sean. Shayla, if you would take yourself off of mute and just give us a few moments of what you shared before. And then afterwards, I'm going to go through and do a quick refresher for everybody who was here. And then it'll be the first time for those of you who weren't able to make it last week, but we want to make sure we get everybody caught up.
Yeah,
Shayla.
thank you. Yeah, my favorite part about last week's session was being able to put a visual playbook in place to really see our income potential. We were able to show, I don't know the exact numbers, but you were able to show like the gold that we have in the palm of our hands, our contacts and our network, how a certain amount, reaching out to a certain amount of people will equate to a certain amount of income. And that was very valuable because it created a game plan for each of us that showed us it was feasible to bring in income and reach our goals. So that was really appreciated because we did it not based off of it wasn't just an average. It was like studies showed that if you spend this amount of time investing and speaking to these amount of people, on these days, it was just really beneficial because it really gave us a playbook on how to be successful. So
Outstanding.
thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Ashayla. Well, I hope you guys are ready to take some notes and participate. As you know, all of our trainings are interactive. So I'm going to go through some of this information. I'm going to ask for you guys to participate and read. And while we're doing all of this, I want you to be mindful, think about it, because at the end of the day, our goal is for this information to impact you so that you have those key takeaways and you have a game plan and know exactly what it is that you need to be doing in order to be successful. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. And this is just a quick refresher. Somebody read for me this on the right-hand side of the page up under the beautiful picture of people.
It's not on yet.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Then
can.
of businesses, 70% of business will come from your sphere of influence. Let's multiply it.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Darian. So just to reiterate, right? When you get into real estate, oftentimes people will think, well, it's the business from the people you don't know, right? Let's go out and let's master the market and let's, go out and prospect to as many people as possible. And yes, that is a part of it. But what studies show is that 70% of your business is going to come from your sphere of influence. So these are the people that already know, like, and trust you. What does that mean? That means that every single Realty Pro, you already have a springboard for your business. Whether you're brand new, you've been in the business 1 year, 1 day, 1 year, or 10 years, everybody has a sphere of influence. These are people that you already have a contact for in your phone. We've gone through this. These are your family members, your friends, friends of family, family of friends. You might say, well, I didn't go to school in this area. That's not a problem because you worked in this area at some point. These are colleagues. These are people who do your hair. These are people who might wash your car. These may be the mailman. It's going to be contacts from past leads, constant contacts, platform that you use. All of these are people that are within your sphere of influence, right? And just to reiterate as well, something that Ashayla mentioned, which is so very imperative to every last one of our Realty Pros, there is a method for why we do everything that we do. So for every last one of our Realty Pros, the activity last week was for you to take out your cell phone and for you to drop in the chat the number of contacts that you have in your cell phone in the palm of your hands already. Because what we're doing is we're establishing an action plan that's going to give you success for the entire year of 2025, but everybody has a starting point. So we want you to have a real tabulation of where you are today and what you need to obtain in order to get to the goal that you have. All right. So if you did not have a chance to do that last week, I want you absolutely to take advantage of it now because it's going to be very insightful for you. What is your number of contacts in your phone? And some people are going to have hundreds, some people are going to have thousands, but we need to know and you need to know what your starting point is as of today. So take a few moments, think about it, drop the number in the chat. And while you guys are doing that, let's go through this. It's an action plan, if you will. It says to earn 100K or 6 figures in your real estate business this year. Why is it that we're doing all of this? I want somebody to take themselves off of mute. If we have at least 2 people, if not 3, we can have this whole page read in a few minutes. All right. Our first volunteer, you can take the first 3 little bullet points. The next one, take the next 3. And then the third volunteer, you can bring it home.
$100,000. Oh, is that me?
Go ahead, Darian.
Gotcha. $100,000 in earnings goals at $10,661.90 per transaction equals 10 transactions, rounded up. Since taking more listings is the recipe for success in real estate, the ratio should be 60-40. Listings taken over buyer sales equals 6 listings sold over 4 buyer sales. 2-to-1 is the ratio, meaning for every 2 listings you take, you'll sell 1. Therefore, to sell 6 listings, you need to take 12 listings and 8 buyer clients.
Outstanding, Darian. Thank you so much. Our next reader, unmute yourself and jump right in.
I'll take it. It's 2 to 1. This ratio means for every 2 listings you take, you'll sell 1. Therefore, to sell 6 listings, you'll need to take 12 listings and 8 buyer clients. 2 to 1 ratio. This ratio means for every 2 listing appointments you go on, you'll list 1. Therefore, to take 12 listings, you'll need to go on 24 listing appointments and 16 buyer consultants with equals 40 appointments. 5 to 1. This ratio means for every 5 leads you generate, you'll get an appointment. Therefore, to book 40 appointments, you'll need to generate 200 leads.
Pause right there for just a moment, because I want to make sure that there's an aha moment for every one of our Realty pros. Cheryl, start at the beginning of that bullet point again with a 5 to 1 ratio. What does that mean?
This ratio means for every 5 leads you generate, you'll get an appointment. Therefore, to book 40 appointments, you'll need to generate 200 leads.
Outstanding. Keep going to that last bullet point.
12 to 1 means for every 12 people you talk to in your contacts, you'll get a lead. Therefore, to generate 200 leads, you'll need 2,400 contacts.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Let's have a dialogue about this really quickly before we go down to the end, because I want to make sure that you guys are seeing this. You heard Shayla say that we're breaking down the numbers, and it's imperative that we know all these things as real estate professionals, because while we're in a people industry, our success is a numbers game. Meaning that the more people you talk to, the more leads you get, the more leads you get, the more appointments, the more appointments, the more clients, the more clients, the more closings. So our primary objective is going to be to lead generate. But what does that mean? This is giving us a very clear and concise action plan. So we know exactly how many people we need to talk to. We know exactly how many leads that's going to lead to. And even more so, it's going to tell us what we're able to produce in terms of our income. Now, one of the things that I will say is while these are NARS numbers for us, many of us have much higher percentage rates than this in terms of your listings sold to the number of listings taken, in terms of your number of buyers closed in comparison to the number of buyers taken. But for the sake of us being very conservative, we want us to have some very realistic numbers. So that was so good to me. Thank you so much for reading. Who would take us away for that last paragraph and 2 sentences at the bottom?
I don't mind going.
Thank you, Sean.
We start at 12-1, is that correct?
Sure. Reiterate that one and then take it away.
Okay. Means for every 12 people you talk to, you'll get a lead. Therefore, to generate 200 leads, you'll get 2,400 contacts. If you take 4 weeks of vacation this year, 1 per quarter, that leaves 11 months left for business. Also, since you might only want to work 20 days a month, that leaves 220 working days for the year, which is 11 months times 20. When you divide the 2,400 contacts into the 220 working days, that equals 11 contacts per day. At 8 to 12 contacts per hour, that equates to 1 to 1.5 hours of daily prospecting to achieve.
Outstanding. And at the bottom, it's to achieve 100K of earnings in that year. That was phenomenal to each of our Realty pros. Thank you for your contributions. And now we need to hear from more of you, because all of our Realty pros are leaders. We want to make sure that this makes absolute sense to you and it's abundantly clear, because there's so much meat in this content that we're covering. I want to make sure that we all have a tremendous takeaway from it. So as we read through this information, what sticks out to you guys? What are you here? What are your takeaways? I want to hear from you guys for a moment before we move on to the next information. So let's see. We're going to volunteer some of our Realty pros, unless we have some that are willing to come off of mute first. Let us know what your thoughts are about this information.
Essentially, like when I get down to the 11 contacts per day, but also seeing that at an average of basically 12 contacts per hour, hour and a half, you could do most of your prospecting in an hour to 2 hours in the beginning of your day.
I
Or
love
some
it.
point in time in your day. But like I say, I think the earlier the better. Like so even for me, I'm thinking like between that the 9 and 10, 9 and 12, I would say. Just give me some time, I guess. But I think between that, I can get a lot of prospecting in well over that 12, but just 12 being a minimum, I would say.
I love it. That's excellent, Darian. Thank you so much for sharing. Marcus, I see that you've unmuted yourself. Jump right in.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
I see that basically with the 70% of your business will come from your sphere of influence. With the contacts we have in with the contacts we already have, some of the work is already done for us.
I love that perspective. That is very good. Who's next?
Ms. Porter, can you hear me?
Sure can. Hello, Mr. Ambassador, sir.
How are you?
Wonderful.
I
Jump
just
right
want,
in.
I just wanted to say that, one of the things that we always have to do is we have to believe in, we have to trust in, and we have to do the numbers. The numbers don't lie. And if you start to see it and you go over this, and that's what I'm doing now, is going over these numbers till it gets into my spirit so that I can really truly believe in and trust the numbers. Because once you believe in them and you trust it, then it's easier to do it. And then as soon as you start doing it and you start getting the results, it makes you want to do it even more. So I just want to encourage all of us to believe, trust, and do the numbers.
That was outstanding, Kermon. You guys are on fire today. I think I need to let all of you do the training. Come on, Gene. I see you unmuted.
Yeah, I was just going to say out of everything, man, I got to get busy. This is fire, you know, that's lit up under me. And Shay always say, Mr. Porter always say, your cards, your cards. He put cards on her desk. He do all this stuff. But man, with these numbers, the opportunity, I got to get busy. This is lighting the fire under me.
I love that, Gina. That is our hope for every last Realty Pros, that this lights a fire up under you and that you are encouraged and inspired to dominate, to thrive in 2025. I love it. Who's next? See, we have some messages in the chat there. Want to make sure we don't miss you guys. All right, this is fire. I see your numbers in there with regard to the number of contacts you have in your phone. Most of the work is done for you guys. Marcus, you have 1,896 contacts already. You already have 6 figures waiting for you in the palm of your hand. Jawan, you're very close to it with 1,694 contacts. Cheryl, you're about 20% there. So you have money waiting for you already. Look at that. Darian, 1,240 contacts. Gina, 1,900. I'm sorry, 1,200. I'm going to speak that. You can have 1,900 if you do some of these activities we're talking about, but you're starting with 1,292 contacts. You guys are more than halfway there already. That is so very good to know, because even if you say, okay, well, I don't have a settlement today, well, guess what? You have opportunities for the rest of the entire year in your hand, in your cell phone. But guess what? It gets even better than that, because as we go through the rest of the training, you're going to see where you have an abundance of opportunities in order to multiply the contacts that you currently have in your cell phone. Before we move on to the next page, I want to know if there's anybody else that has a contribution that they'd like to add, a key takeaway or anything from this material that we've covered. If so, go ahead and unmute yourself and share with us. Otherwise, we're going to keep moving forward.
Something I just thought of,
Go ahead.
yeah, something I just thought about is that now even thinking about the context that I do have, but looking at the different spheres they work in and the different capacities they work in, how that can just, like, one contact specifically or a couple contacts can now like just skyrocket your network, I would say, and can actually do marketing for you as well. So I just started thinking of people who do a certain level of business, and I'm like, these people I need to really get in contact with, because there's some synergy right here that can that can be leveraged for both parties.
I love that, Darian. Darian, you're ahead of the game, because that's our training for next week. Our multi-million-dollar pipeline prospecting. That's next week, Darian. So you stay with that perspective, and I want everybody else to get there too. Thank you for sharing that. Cheryl, go ahead and unmute yourself. I see that you were about to make a comment there.
Yes, I was. I was saying that, when I look at this, even though I just jumped on, and when I look at this, I can kind of take and discipline myself to take an hour, 2 hours out of the day. And I'm working strictly on those contacts, 2 hours a day, just make it a discipline every day that I'm, 2 hours a day to devote to my business. So.
That is so phenomenal, Cheryl. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I want you guys to see how imperative what Cheryl is saying. Very much like what we heard Darian say. Oh, that means all I have to do is do my prospecting the first 2 hours of the day. This is so imperative for every last one of us to grab hold of, because when we think in terms of having your real estate business to produce a minimum of a six-figure income for you, people can very easily get overwhelmed, and they'll say, well, I don't know what to do, or, there's so many things to do. How do I get there? But what this is doing is it's giving us crystal clear instructions as to exactly what to do, and then exactly when to do, and how many people we need to contact. So even if you're dual career, whether you're full-time in real estate or you're dual career or whatever it is that you have to do, I'm pretty confident that most of us can pull an hour to an hour and a half a day. Whether that's, 45 minutes in the morning and 45 minutes in the evening, whether it's the time that we would have been watching Netflix, or the time that we would have been watching YouTube University, or the time that we would have been on Facebook, or whatever it is, even up to the time that we are driving, commuting to and from work, guys. As long as you're not holding your phone and that phone is sitting down, you can tell Alexa or you can tell Siri to make a call, and they can get that person on the phone for you, so that by the time you get to your job, you would have made 11 calls on the way to work. And guess what? If there's traffic, now it's time to celebrate. Because if there's traffic on the way coming home, or maybe say by chance you live a distance from the office, guess what? Be grateful, because that's another opportunity. If it's only going to take you an hour to an hour and a half to get through all of these contacts, then guess what? That traffic now becomes your best friend, because Siri can call, those 10 people on the way to work, and you might be able to get 5 on the way to work, 5 on the way home from work. Or you might want to be an overachiever and say, well, because I have so much time and I realize this goal that I have in the palm of my hands, I'm going to go ahead and do 10 in the morning. And I might do some additional in the evening as well, as long as I have a minimum of 11 contacts per day.
Hey, Jasmine.
Yes, Mr. Porter.
Just for the sake of those people who don't have an iPhone, Siri is what we use to call automatically. I just wanted to put that out there. You might have lost some people.
I say that because our safety is paramount. And Mrs. Porter is not asking for any Realty Pro or anybody to pick up a phone and have it to their head or not focused on their road. So I want to make sure we're very clear. Most of us have something where your phone is sitting down. You can sit your phone on and you just talk to your phone and tell it to make a call, so that you are safe and efficient at the same time. All right. So thank you, Mr. Porter, for letting us all know who Siri is, and then everybody else know who Alexa is, and we can move forward and make those calls. All right. Very imperative. There's something else that sticks out in here too, guys, that I want to make sure that we grab hold of. I love this paragraph before you get to the last 2 sentences there, because it encourages each and every last one of us to block out 4 weeks of vacation per year, every year. And I want you guys to take that to heart, because whether you're leaving the state, the country, or even your bedroom, you want to block out that time so that you are able to rest, you're able to recuperate, you'll be refreshed, you have time where you can spend with your family, so that there is no burnout. So this plan, it is only requiring 220 working days, right? It's saying if you only do an hour to an hour and a half on only 220 days a year, then these are the type of results that you will get. The numbers don't lie. So my hope is that you see how absolutely possible this is for each and every last Realty Pro. It is possible for everybody. So I love the key takeaways that I hear coming from you guys. Like I said, you're on fire, and I feel like any one of you could have done this call. So the sphere of influence, in the event that there's anybody who wasn't on the call, we're talking about your close family, friends, distant relatives, acquaintances, colleagues, church members, neighbors, friends of, well, children's friends, parents, children's school teachers, accountants, car mechanics. The list goes on and on. This isn't meant to be a comprehensive list, but this is meant to open up your eyes to the abundance of possibility that you have. Because this is coworkers, spouses of coworkers, florists, your friends, your all of these people, people who cut your hair, people who do your hair, people who, you know, may work around your house. Essentially, anybody that you have had contact with in any type of way, these are people that you absolutely have the option to pull into your contact pool. So then you might say, okay, well, what's the difference? What's the difference in somebody that I know versus somebody that's one of my contacts? And that should be very clear and straightforward. There are probably thousands of people that we have had access to, and our phone probably only shows a small portion of those people. So that's the big part about our training today. As we take last week and progress, what we're saying is, okay, now we've identified our sphere of influence. We've said that it's even the plumbers, the neighbors, the photographers, the people in the restaurant that, you know, give great service or don't give great service, the managers or whoever it is. We've said that it's people in your social network, the people that, you know, sports teams, teachers, volunteer organizations. We've said that your sphere of influence is all of these people. So then what do you do when you think of all of those people that now I had realized that I have an abundance of people that I have to get busy with, right? We're not going to go back through the text campaign just yet, but I want to clearly define for us what our goal is. Our goal is to now take every single person that we have an opportunity to have a conversation with that is already within our sphere of influence. That person in the barbershop, hair salon, nail salon, coffee shop, grocery store, gas station. Our goal is to now exchange contact information with all of these people. So now they go from being somebody that you know to an actual contact that you have in your phone. So now they go from being just a person that maybe you greet to now being a potential for business. Now they go from being something that you see, somebody that you see want to being somebody that you can send out your constant contact campaign to, somebody that you can market to, somebody you can prospect for business, somebody that you can communicate with on a regular basis so that you can assist them with all their real estate needs. And the hope is that they will then become a source of business for you, for not only themselves, but for the people that they know, like, and trust. Okay. So one of the things that I'll say is, as it pertains to that, is the sky is the limit when it comes to the number of prospects that you have the ability to have. You and I both know there are over 7 billion people on this planet. There are over 600 million people in the United States of America. So if we are diligent, look at the number of people in Maryland, the number of DC, the number in Virginia, the sky's the limit. So as you go out and prospect, there are very simple ways that you can multiply your book of business. You can multiply the contacts that you have. If you do the things that we're talking about doing, which is as you go and you have conversations with people, exchange that contact. Guess what? You're going to multiply the contacts that you have within the next 30 days. So as I make sure that that's clear for everybody, whatever your baseline is, you're going to begin calling those people, but you know what your goal is. Your goal is a minimum of 2,400. So if you say, okay, 70% of my business is going to come from the people that already know, like, and trust me. Well, if I just increase the contact information for all the people who already know, like, and trust me, now I might be able to get a full 2,400 contacts just out of the people in my sphere of influence. Well, what opportunities are those? Well, I can think of some things right offhand, and I'm sure you guys will too. You might call and you might have an aunt and say, Aunt so-and-so or cousin so-and-so, what's such and such contact information? Right? Because for everybody you know, you don't have contact information. We don't have contact information for every single person that we know. So you can utilize your sphere to multiply your contacts by simply asking for information from them, and then you directly having conversations with people so that you can exchange contact information. I want to pause right there for a moment because I want to hear your guys' thoughts, and I want to make sure that this piece is abundantly clear to everybody. When we're talking about multiplying your contacts just by using your current contacts that you have, what are some things that jump out at you guys? I see you, Mr. Ambassador, sir.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I put in the chat that a quick reminder is to become an expert at getting requesting at least 3 referrals from every call that you make, every contact that you come in contact with, regardless of how the phone call goes, whether they're interested or not. But if we can become an expert at least getting 3 referrals, you can triple your efforts just doing that. And I've seen Mr. and Mrs. Porter do that, but I've also seen Mr. and Mrs. Porter not make their minimums their maximums. So if your minimum is to call 10 people a day, you don't want to make that your maximum. Maybe you can max it out to 15 people, as Ms. Porter was just saying, or max it out to 20 people. So doing those 2 things, because once you get on the phone and start dialing, you can get into it, and you'll find that it'll be easier and you'll do more than you thought you were going to do. So that's all.
I love that, Kermon. I hope you guys are taking notes because Kermon just hit the nail on the head. If you simply ask the people that you're talking to for 3 referrals or even 3 additional contacts, let's say, as an example, I start out with 500 and I take that 500 and I ask every last one of those for contact information for 3 people. How many people do I have at the end of that activity?
1,500.
There you go. And I've multiplied that. And it's actually going to be more than that because I already have 500 and I'm getting 3 from them. So now I'm getting 2,000. I've gotten 1,500 new people. I see you, Darian. That's right. So you see how the sky's the limit and you can absolutely multiply your contacts by working your sphere of influence. I see your message in the chat, Paula. There are opportunities all around you every day to increase your contacts. Yes, there are. So I want to make sure that this is abundantly clear to every last one of our Realty pros, because our thought process and everything that we do should, number one, be all things are possible. First and foremost, if you believe they're possible, then they are absolutely possible to you. Then number 2, do exactly what it is that we're sharing with you, because this is a recipe for success. You will be successful in everything that you do if you are diligent and consistent and do not quit. When it seems like, okay, well, I called, 5 people and it went to voicemail for those people, keep going. I've called 20 people and 3 of them have to call me back later, keep going. But as you get through your contact list, you are going to have such a great reward because you're going to be so surprised at the number of people who are ecstatic to have a conversation with you. One of the things that I'll share with you guys is I was having a conversation with one of your Realty Pro colleagues, and I love the terminology that he used. He was talking about, a background in sales and door knocking, and he can unmute himself and share if he would like, but I'm going to take the liberty of sharing what it was that we talked about because it's very pertinent here. He talked about when they would go in sales and door knock a community, they had 3 different rounds. The first round was a harvest. So you go around and you determine all of the people who actually still live there, the people who don't live there, right? But you're filtering through your list. The second time they went around again. The third time they went, and that was where it was a lot more concentrated in the business that they were going to get. Why am I saying that as it pertains to us here and now? I'm saying that because as you make calls, there's some people who may be at work, they may be on lunch, they may be at a child school, they may or may not be available, but you still reach back out to those people. The people who are able to respond, you have conversations with those people. The people who have to get back to you later that you have to leave a voicemail with, you get back to those people. But you persist and you make your rounds through all of your contacts until you have effectively had conversations with each and every last person that you have a contact with. Because remember, the sky is the limit. And it is absolutely possible. And you and I both know that every single human being on the planet needs somewhere to live. Everybody needs somewhere to live. Many of them don't realize that the opportunity is available for them to become homeowners. And that's where you and I come in. We'll go through another training where we look at statistics in our various communities that we're part of and that we serve so that you know how many of those people are actually in need of your help in order to become homeowners. There are various instances that push people to actually need to sell beyond just the simple desire to sell, but there are things that cause people to absolutely need to sell also. And how would we know that? Except that we reached out to those people. So with that being said, that is your fire and your encouragement, because very many people that you know are going to purchase or sell this year, or they know somebody who will purchase and sell. And when they do, you want them to say, well, I know that a Shayla is a realtor. I'm going to give her a call. I know that Jawan is a realtor. I'm going to give him a call. You want your name to be top of mind for them. And the way that that happens is when they know that they're top of mind for you. And that's not something that's imagined. That's something that you display in your efforts when you simply reach out. You send them a text message, you send them a call, you reach out, you have a conversation with them, and then they know, well, Christian is thinking about me. Gina's thinking about me. So now I'm going to think about her when it comes time for me to refer her business. I'm going to pause there for a moment. Mr. Porter, I see that you've unmuted yourself. Do you have something to add there, sir?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to encourage you all. What Jasmine is saying. If the first 5 phone calls don't work, you make a few more. But I'm just want to say this guy, this guy. It really only takes one. We often tell the story about the agent who came to Porterhouse, been selling real estate for years, wanted to boost her sales. She met with Jasmine. Jasmine said, well, why don't you, she said, why don't you start cold calling? Oh, I hate cold calling. Well, then you got to get out your comfort zone. I heard her tell the lady, you got to get out your comfort zone. And so she said, well, I'll try to make, she said, well, don't waste your time. Why don't you just call $1 million listings? Just call people that you think might want to sell a house that's $1 million and more. So the lady took her advice and went ahead and started making a few phone calls, just a few phone calls to people who had houses that were priced, that could be priced over $1 million if they listed. Well, she got 3 sales for $1 million out of that, out of just doing that one thing. And we've been doing it every year. We've been saying, hey, let's cold call $1 million listings. It only takes one. She got 3 sales. She got a listing from the person that she called. They sold their house for $1 million, but they bought a house, another house in Baltimore for $1 million. Well, the neighbor across the street saw the yard sign and called the person on the yard sign and said, hey, can you list my house too? My neighbors told me you did a good job. So she sold that house. That's 3 $1 million sales. It only takes one. It only takes one. That's all.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Porter. You guys be encouraged, be motivated, move forward, do these things because they will absolutely work. All right. So as we are moving forward, we put a text campaign into the WhatsApp group chat last week, and we'll do the same thing if need be. But these are just tools in your arsenal, guys. These are opportunities for you to lead into conversation with the text messages that we were going through. You heard us talk about A to Z campaign. You know that many of us have. If you have not yet downloaded Hi, Hello, or DOT card, then I want for every last Realty Pro to do that today. Somebody drop that into the chat, Hi, Hello, and DOT card. And for any of our Realty Pros online, if you will go to your app store on your phone and simply send the link to Hi, Hello into the WhatsApp group chat and send the link to DOT card in the WhatsApp group chat, we want for our Realty Pros to have multiple means to communicate your contact with people. So every last Realty Pro, you have an electronic version of your business card because it's what we send you before you approve your business card for printing. But we are in the digital age, so I want you to take it a step further. These are additional tools that we use that communicate your information electronically, but not only do they have your business information, they also have each one of your different social media outlets. They have your telephone number, your email address. Why are we doing this? So that you connect with people electronically. They get all of your information just in a text message. You get all of their information in return just because they receive your text. So now you can add these people to your book of business. And very differently, if I hand you a business card, then I'm going to work to get your contact information. However, if I'm texting you an electronic business card, you got to give me your telephone number on the spot. You've got to give me either your telephone number or your email address. And my goal is always going to be to complete the contact. So if we're sending information electronically and I text it to you, I say, okay, well, what's the best email address for you so that I can complete your contact? And what have I done? Just like that, I've turned them from just somebody I know into a contact. And then what's the goal for that? For the contact, our goal is going to be to take the contact and to include them. Let me ask you guys a question. How do I effectively transition somebody from being a contact to being in my book of business? What is that step? I want to make sure that that's clear to each and every last Realty Pro online, because some Realty Pros have been in the business for years, some are newer to the industry, and I want to make sure we all have clear and concise information about what it means to have somebody in your book of business. So how do I transition somebody from being a contact to being in my book of business? Somebody unmute yourself and let me know. Come on, Realty Pros. All right, either unmute yourself or I'm going to keep moving forward and I'll make it very plain for us.
I
A
don't.
person,
Oh,
go ahead.
I don't think I got the answer, but me just being blunt. Don't keep your mouth closed. Like ask for that. Like just tell them what you do. Like say what was we saying a couple of weeks ago? You can't be a secret realtor or something like that. So I mean that's what I'm thinking of.
I love that, Darian. That is very much part of the process, not being a secret agent, not keeping your mouth closed and having those conversations with people. That is very much how it begins. So hats off to you for answering and just jumping right in there. To make it very simple and crystal clear for us, the difference in a contact versus somebody in our book of business is simply you have their contact information in your cell phone, they're a contact. You take that contact information and you upload it into your constant contact and your CRM. Now they're within your book of business. So our goal is to transition everybody from being somebody we know to being a contact to now being in our book of business. And why is it important for people to be in our book of business? And that's not a trick question. What are your guys' thoughts about that? You can unmute yourself or drop it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to keep pushing forward.
Now we could
Why is it important?
drip campaigns.
You got it. You hit the nail on the head, Darian. So simply put, your book of business is contact information for every last person that you know that you're able to market to. That is as simply put, that's what it is to have a book of business. Having contact information for everybody you know inside of a vehicle that you can market to. And you heard Darian say drip campaigns. Drip campaigns are very effective ways for you to stay in front of the people that you know so that you remain top of mind for them. They know that they're top of mind for you because you're sending them a campaign where they're receiving those 33 touches throughout the year, and we will do a training on that. There are very many campaigns already built within inside our constant contact library. So all you do is go in there and copy it, you add your information, update it, and then you send it to your contact list. This is what's going to get you those referrals while you're sleeping, because this is one of the items that people are going to say, okay, well, Darian, I saw you sent me this property that you're having an open house for. I'm actually interested in that property, right? Very important. So I want you guys to grab hold of it and really take this at face value. And as a freebie for you, you saw Darlene drop a flyer into our WhatsApp group chat earlier this morning. At Porterhouse, whenever we do open houses, we want to give every last one of our Realty pros the opportunity to market each one of those for business. So you'll see those flyers dropped in the WhatsApp group chat. They're for you to put your picture on and your telephone number on, and for you to market to all of your clients, both in constant contact, on social media, and every other outlet, so that you can get the business that's going to come from those outlets that you market to. All right. So there's so much more that we can do that we will not have time to cover today, but I essentially want to make sure that everybody is well aware that you can take somebody from being a person in your sphere of influence that you know to now having their actual contact information. Once you have their actual contact information, then you transition them into your book of business by simply adding their email address, their name, their telephone number into your constant contact campaign. Now you have effectively established a book of business. And I don't know if you guys may hear the key term in that business, but that's where your business is going to come from, guys. And when people transition in and out of businesses, those actually have a monetary value. And they have a monetary value. We know why that is, because as we began, I'm going to go back with where we began. I'm giving you guys a sneak peek into next week. Don't want to get ahead of myself, but let's just see this. Your book of business has a real dollar value for this very reason that we started with. Because for every 2,400 contacts that you have, you're going to have 200 leads, 24 listing appointments, 12 listings, 8 buyer clients, and at least 10 transactions sold. So your book of business can effectively be worth over 6 figures every single year. So with that information, I want to thank you guys for joining today. I'm going to turn the floor over to Anitha so that you guys can give any final thoughts or key takeaways or ask any questions that you have. So I will go ahead and turn it back over to you now, Anitha. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today.
Thank you, Mrs. Porter. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. So is there any questions? Does anyone have any questions? I think we all know where we need to start. Does anyone, I would love to hear, and I appreciate so much having so many of our Realty pros on the line this afternoon. I love all the participation. And I was just wondering, is there anyone who is able to take themselves off mute and just based on today's training, provide some input or some feedback and or some takeaways that you got from even this training this afternoon. Please feel free to unmute yourself and you can share with us. This is and I love the excitement of all the Realty pros going into this and throughout this whole training session. This has been really great.
Miss Anitha, could I just jump in there while we're waiting? I just want to say, you know, I've been being trained by Jasmine Porter since 2014. And it never ceases to amaze me how many things I think of that I could be doing better. And I just want to say my barber has been getting away with murder for years. Because although he sends me people, I have never dropped a stack of my business cards off at the barbershop. And I have a relationship with my barber where I can look at him and say, when I come back at the end of the year, those cars better be gone and you better not throw them away. And I'm sure he would be happy. He would be ecstatic to tell all of his clients to use me if they ever have any real estate needs. He would engage them in the conversation for me. And I'm thinking about opportunities like that I'm missing out on. So I don't need to get a haircut, but I think I'm going to pay him a visit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I noticed you must have just recently had a haircut. You're looking, yes, there you go. You're looking all put together. So that's a great idea also, you know. Let's go to those places that we frequent, those people we have a relationship with, because this is all this is we're not even trying to necessarily engage with strangers at this point. These are people that we already know and have relationship with. And so, you know, someone that some place that you frequent often and you've built the relationship with that person, that the owner, absolutely ask them to help you out. I like that idea. Anyone else have anything that they want to share? Any takeaways that you have from this afternoon's training?
I just want to say something. This
Yes,
question.
Christian. Yes.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I just want to add that if you've been to this kind of training over and over and over and over, it doesn't matter how many years you undergo this kind of training, there is something that remains constant. And that is, this is the only way. It doesn't matter whether you want to do a shortcut or you find other methods. It looks like this is what works, and this is the only way it is done. So I think every one of us need to get used to it, that there isn't much options to get this done than doing it this way. That's all I want to add.
Thank you, Christian. So yeah, this is the way that it's done, huh? This way has been tried and proven. And so, yeah, thank you so much for that reminder. Just letting us know we have a formula and all we have to do is just work the formula. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Okay.
And I want to.
Herman. Go ahead, Mr. Porter.
I was going to say that I was going to. Caramon didn't step in, so I'm going to use him. I'm going to use him. This Christian is a system, and Caramon can jump in there and tell you what system stand for. I'm gonna let him if he go ahead and unmute himself, because we all should know this, and I love it when he says it because it taught me something. Hearing him say it over and over again, but he not unmuting himself. It's the little button, Caramon. You just never mind. All right. The system stands for save yourself some time, energy, and money. Now, why do I say that? Not only are the things that we're sharing with you tested, this is what we use to achieve success. And we've invested a lot of money in trainings and workshops and tools. And over the years, we've tried, we red light, green light, a lot of people. We tried Boomtown and they went bust. We tried Sync and they was unsynchronized. We'll keep putting our dollars where they make sense. But if we don't see a return on investment, we'll try something new. But we're investing in you all and investing in ourselves. We tried these systems over and over again. And the best, most consistent, and all statistics will tell you that the best business that you can build in sales is a referral-based business that's built on the back of your sphere of influence, period. Now, you go to all these workshops, and they'll tell you got to buy my training and all of that. But when it all comes down to it, you had the gold in the palm of your hand from day one. They just charge you money to talk to you for 4 or 5 hours, to get you to sign up for the next course, to pay some more money. And then when you finish, you done invested a whole lot of money. But at the end of the day, oh yeah, by the way, it's all in your cell phone. You had it the whole time. They don't tell you that at the beginning. We're telling you straight up. Christian hit the nail on the head. This is the deduction from years and years of expensive trainings. It's already, you already have it. That's the secret. You just got to do something with it. And the reason why most people aren't successful is two things that I've seen, and you can see it at Porterhouse. One, they try to be a lone wolf and think that they can do everything by themselves. They don't come around and synergize around other people who are talking about the business, who are doing the business, who are going out in the community. Even if you don't have business, you can learn so much from just being with somebody who does. To go to an open house to see what it's about, to get a feel for it so that you can get it around your mind, so you can do one yourself and invite people in and know how to do all of these things. It comes from experience. Experience is a great teacher, but we're telling you to save yourself some time, energy, and money, and just do the things that we're telling you to do, and you will be successful. But you have to be consistent. This is not an opportunity for us. Some of you have other jobs, so real estate is just an opportunity for you. This is what we do. So we had to figure out a way to make it consistent. And the way we make it consistent is an old saying that closed mouths don't get fed. We open our mouths, we talk to people, we pass out cards, we tell them what we do, we tell them what our experiences is, we tell them what our expertise is, we tell them what we talked about in training today. And by and large, they want to talk to us because they recognize that we got something that they need. So what do? We put something in their hand. It could be a business card, it could be a contact, it could be something. We say to them, if you ever need, just give me a call. This is what I do all day. Even if you have another job, just tell them this is what I do all day. And when the calls start, you have to follow up and follow through and close the deal. I was very happy, and I'm always happy, when agents get a commission to send them their money. And so when that agent, I wish she was on the phone call, I let her talk herself, got that $1 million first closing, I was so happy to send her almost 30 grand, 30,000 off of one sale. It was a little bit more than that, actually. I was so happy to send it to her. Then she got the other sale, another 30,000 or so. Then she got another sale, another 30,000 or so. One call, 90,000. But guess what, guys? Listen, don't limit yourself. We want you to learn the residential side, but don't limit yourself. You're involved in real estate. There's people out there that's trying to sell land or buy land. You have to learn how to do it. It's the same similar process. And if you don't know, call us. We're here. You got a leadership team. There's people that's trying to sell commercial buildings and churches and businesses. We get all that all the time. We open to it. And if we don't know how to do it, guess what? We know how somebody who does. But I tell you what, your broker, and I'm going to say this now because last year I couldn't say now. I don't care. I'm saying now. We get in trouble, Miss Anitha. You got to back me up. You ready? Okay. Last year, your broker closed a commercial deal, and I was so happy for her. I think it was one of her first biggest commercial deals that she did pretty much independently. Okay, because we have been working with a co-broker to do this. But this one, she took the bull by the horn. That deal took almost a year to close. They went through 5 different attorneys. The attorneys kept getting fired, but guess who was still on there? Jasmine Porter. And she was wearing the attorneys out. The deal started out as a $1-point-something million deal. By the time Jasmine Porter finished doing all of the things that she was supposed to do, that business closed with all the things that it entailed for about $4-point-something million. Our broker is amazing. She doesn't blow her own horn, but I'm gonna blow it for. It didn't even surprise me. Even the other person who's the co-broker, they kind of fell off. They just fell off. Everybody gave up. She was fighting. She fought. She said, I'm going to close this. I'm going to close it, and I'm going to close it for more money than they expect. And by the end of it, when they finally went to settlement, I was not amazed, but everybody else was amazed. And I'm not just saying that because she's my broker. She's my friend. She's my wife. I'm telling you, the woman is great at what she does. And if she tells you to do something, these meetings that y'all having with, just do it. It'll change your life. My life has been changed. And many other people's lives has been changed. Many of you were about to quit in the middle of going through so much and mess around, become agent of the year. Many of you about to quit and mess around, sell more houses than you ever could or ever have in your life. All because you reached out to Jasmine Porter. And I'm not saying, I'm telling you, she has a gift, she has an anointing to do this business, and she wants you to be successful. So please take it to heart what we're saying. We want you all to experience a great life in real estate so that you can have an abundance and be able to do all the other things with your family and loved ones and friends and take care of the things that you need to take care of. But do the business. Just do it. Stop making excuses. Get up off your butts, get yourself in the office, put your shirt, tie on, a jacket, something. I don't even wear shirt, tie no more. I get away with this, but I shouldn't have said that. Now I'm in trouble. But put a jacket on at least. Put your business cards in your pocket. Get up and get out in the community. It's cold, but it ain't too cold to make money. And I do it right now because all the other agents are asleep. They're on vacation. I'm out here meeting everybody while nobody's talking about real estate. I just wanted to encourage you guys, man. Listen, this training is very powerful. I don't know if you know what you got, but we all got the same real estate license hanging on the wall, exact same one. But some of us value ours more than others. That's the difference between you and I. Nothing else. I have to make it work. I don't have any other choice. This has to work for me. It has to work for me. And if you have that same mentality, this is all a mindset. It's all in your mind. But if you had that same mentality, I'm going to get out there and find all the business that I can. I'm going to get excited again and get out there and do it. Your life will change, people. All right, Ms. Anita, that's all I had to say.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. So, all right, we are so proud of both Mr. and Mrs. Porter and the example that they set for us and the time that they take out with us. Thank you guys again for that. Thank you for that encouragement. I thought I saw that Miss Pat was unmuted. I don't know if you wanted to share something, Miss Pat, or I thought I saw someone else as well. I can't remember who that was. Okay. Anyone else have anything to share?
You know, I think everyone has really made really good commentary. I would also just, piggybacking on all of that and just going forward and just doing the work. I mean, the main takeaway that we saw during the training is the 12-1 rule, right? You need to talk to 12 people, and it's notional, right? It may be more or less, but the idea is you need to talk to people, and it's a numbers game to get a lead, and those leads lead to your contacts, and they lead to your success. So that's my takeaway, and I think at the end of the day it requires some some sweat equity in that. So
Yes, thank you, Sean. Mr. McPayton, I see you're unmuted.
Yeah, I wanted to say one thing, and this is the reason why I didn't speak up when Mr. Porter was saying about system, because he, I needed to hear him, and I'm so glad that I didn't say anything because you guys needed to hear him. Um, there's no one who can explain that the way that he does. And I just thank you, Mr. Porter, for doing that. Um, it wasn't that I didn't know how to push the button. I do know how to push the right button, but I definitely am so glad that I got to hear you speak on that in regards to the systems and what we're doing. And I just want to make the commitment to do exactly what Mrs. Porter says to do. So that's all I had.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know what, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to close because we are over our time. But I just want to also just encourage us because we really are, it is so wonderful, the blessing that God has allowed us to be able to walk in. And so let's take advantage of, well, not take advantage of, but let's participate, in the blessing that God has given us, because we really have been set up and positioned for success. And so, and each of us, each of us can obtain that whatever level of beyond whatever level of success that we could have dreamt. Okay. And so, it's really great because you don't get this type of training, you don't get this type of support, you don't get this type of opportunity all the time. So there must be something, and we're not just doing this for ourselves. We don't do what we do for ourselves, but it is, going to, in some way, at some point, be a help to someone else. We're not learning what we're learning for ourselves. We're learning what we're learning so that we can then minister to someone else. And so, let's take advantage of that opportunity. Again, not take advantage, but you know what I mean, because, we can't take advantage of God, but let's, lean into and, get what we have considered getting before in the past, so that we can be a blessing to someone else. And so I wanted to also, just as a reminder, I'll go ahead and I'll stop our recording. Thank you all again. A couple reminders though that I do have when the recording is stopped.